Llanelli, once the centre of the steel and tin plate industries, and now the home of Owens Road Services, one of the most progressive and biggest haulage and distribution companies in the UK. But can this town hold the future for such a forward-thinking company? To stay in business, Owens need to win bigger contracts, and the stakes are getting higher.
We move in further east and north all the time. We looked at this a few years ago, and what we found was we had too many vehicles based in just South Wales. So we had to spread our wings a bit to try and make it more viable and have better synergies with the traffic, with loads going up country and trying to get loads to come back again.
Owens is one of Llanelli's biggest employers, and they have to make sure that they win enough local contracts to keep their local workforce busy. It's a big headache for the owners. That's why winning a multi-million-pound contract to transport the pipes for the massive and controversial liquid petroleum gas pipeline currently ripping through the South Wales landscape was so important for Owens. Local contracts means keeping 300 Llanelli staff in work.
It's been very interesting really, because it's been a new project for the company, and we haven't been involved in the construction industry before, but we were pretty flattered really when we were awarded with the job. We've put the flag down now as far as Owens is concerned with the construction boys. There's a fair bit happening in South Wales and the Midlands. So if we do a good job with this one, I'm hoping that the word will spread around, and we can compete then with the big boys for the big jobs anywhere in the UK and Europe.
But competing with the big boys and a company expanding towards the east by the week means sending drivers and trucks further afield. This means that it's more difficult to keep an eye on vehicles. Over the last winter, 3 of Owens' loads were stolen from distribution centres in the Midlands. Hijacking is more prevalent, and companies have to try and keep a closer eye on their vehicles and trailers. One way to do this would be to install a satellite tracking system onto each lorry.
With the problems that we've come up against is the price of copper and aluminium and whatever. The problems we've had in the Midlands, especially with the gangs stealing loads and taking away trucks and whatever, that it's left no alternative, but we've got to go down the road of tracking systems.
A tracking device would be fitted on each lorry that would transmit a radio signal that would be picked up by satellite and beamed back down to the computer system at Owens Depot in Davin. All trucks would then be seen on screen and their exact location pinpointed. At present, with winning bigger contracts further afield, fuel costs are also escalating, and in order to be competitive, Owens need to make sure that their fueling system is as cost-effective as possible.
The fuel is one of the biggest issues and one of the biggest costs. At this moment in time, I would be fair to say that our annual spend would be 10 million plus.
Finding out exactly how much each lorry does to the gallon is therefore imperative if Owens are to have a chance of winning any part of the £1 billion NACAP contract to lay down the LPG pipeline through South Wales. And a huge contract like this brings along its own dilemmas.
You've always got your ears open to, new contracts and new opportunities that are happening, in the area. and basically you try and make it your business to find out what's happening.
Winning the steel distribution contract with Duport Steel many years ago made sure that Owens could create a strong base for expansion. They were loyal to Duport, and that loyalty paid dividends. Today it's different. With Chorus having been bought out by Tata, the future isn't so secure. Expanding into the construction industry could keep more local jobs in the South Wales area for Owens.
Put it this way, Marion, as we know last week when we had that meeting with NACAP down in Carmarthen, referenced the pipeline job, now the second part of it, that's from Swansea over the Beacons and then up as far as, where is it going to go? Up as far as Abergavenny way.
So you were confident, Miriam, that we're going to have enough kit on time?
To service the job,
Yeah?
The trailers are done, you know, we've got the trailers.
What sort of hours do they expect us to work in? What are they in? I mean, is it days or shifts or what is it?
It's 10-hour shifts, isn't it?
It's 12-hour shifts.
12-hour shifts.
6 till 6, yeah.
We can't afford for anything to go wrong here because every man and his dog will be watching.
That's right,
Yeah, that's right. It's very, very important for us to make
And the
sure
last
that
contractor, I'm sure, would love to step in and say we told you so. You know, funny enough, the bloke was the gentleman is down here.
Owens have already outlaid over £1 million on specialised kit in the hope of winning this contract. No small amount in anybody's book. Another outlay of £50,000 has been spent on a new fuel system. Buying fuel in bulk has also meant instant cost savings, and having more control over drivers inputting correct mileages has meant truer miles per gallon readings. But the results are still puzzling the company. The vehicles don't seem to be performing to the manufacturer's published MPG statistics, something the company would not have found out without their investment in the fueling system.
They're struggling to make sound weekend,
Yes,
as well.
as well.
When you look at this overall, though, they all appear to be about, I don't know, between 10 and 20% down, don't they? When you look at it.
Yeah.
Of what the manufacturers claim they're going to do.
Yeah, and what other people tell you, they have tricks are doing. No? Is it down to bad driving?
Well, it all adds up, doesn't it? Everything with it.
It'll be another 6 months before a true picture emerges. Sarah, meanwhile, has an outlay of her own.
Right, my colleague's been up to DVLA for me to tax all the fleet. We've got about 30 this month, so it's not too bad. As you can see, there are quite a few here, so I'll never have a chance now to put them in on the lorry before the weekend. So what I'll be doing is going up to traffic and giving them in to the traffic boys. Each traffic operator has got his own little fleet, so I'll now go to traffic and see which one Matt in, which lorries he's got, Ian Owen, which lorries he controls, Paul, etc. So they can take them off me. Spent quite a lot quite a lot in the DVLA, 21,000 for the DVLA and only 4 in the post office, so it's quite a lot we spend, but this is a good month.
That's £25,000 on 30 lorries. She has another 270 lorries left to tax, over £2 million a year. At present, the tracking of all vehicles is done manually through telephone conversations between the drivers and the managers at the traffic departments. Traffic is the nerve centre of the Owens operation, sending lorries all over the UK and the continent. After unloading, drivers call base and report their tip, to be then sent on to the next pickup or drop-off destination.
We have a 24/7 traffic operation here, where we have people now that are working sort of 4 shifts on, 4 shifts off, that's days and nights. Each traffic operator has his own batch of about 50 vehicles. So that's all his responsibility is just to concentrate on his own batch of vehicles then. You learn by experience, you know what I mean? Some of these guys have been here like 20 odd years. So, you know, after that amount of time they should know and hopefully what they're doing.
The safety of parked lorries when the value of their loads can run up to tens of thousands of pounds is paramount. At present, it's impossible for the drivers or the experts at traffic to keep a constant eye on their loads. And with mounting costs, stealing, and even hijacking, all huge problems for Owens. How will the company survive into the future? With less and less work in Llanelli and southwest Wales, Owens' search for bigger contracts is getting more intense. Every deal is getting tougher and the competition from the UK and Europe getting stiffer. But with a successful bid for the distribution of pipes for the LPG pipeline, Owens are now making inroads into the construction industry.
It's been a new project for the company, and we haven't been involved in the construction industry before, but when the job came, we took a long time to have a look at it. Big outlay for the company as far as equipment is concerned. We had to go more or less out to Europe to get all the right equipment, trailers, semi-low loaders, rear steers, etc. Equipment that we've never been asked to provide to any customer before. But it's been a good learning curve, and they've been an excellent company to work with. And so far it's been very interesting.
Big contracts like these are headline material, and the protesters have been out in force. But Owens have faced protestations in the past and have always been loyal to their contract.
We were to put up with a lot during the first couple of weeks with the protesters. I can see their point of view, where they're coming from. But also we got to get on with the job, and our job is to move the pipes from the docks up to the beacons and up as far as Brecon. But as far as I'm concerned, the boys have done an excellent job of it.
And it seems that it's not only the Owens boys that have been doing a good job of it.
Got a bit of good news, a bit of a surprise. I'm pregnant, so I haven't got long left now. I've got about 12-13 weeks left, due August. So it's all been happening. Got me bump. It's not, I'm small for 6 months, so I hope now that I can just keep it like this for a while longer, because not to get in all my clothes. But apart from that, I'm really excited, me and my partner, and nervous about the giving birth bit. Watching all these programmes on satellite and I'll turn you off. My midwife has said, don't you bloody watch them, girl, because they are a bit gruesome, to say the least.
Over the last winter, 3 of Owens' loads were stolen from various distribution centres in the Midlands. It's becoming a safety issue for management and workers alike.
Safety is a big issue, yeah. You know, it all depends on your value of your load. If you park on the road, you've got no safety, and there's anybody that can come and rob you, and they'll slash the curtain to see what's in it. If they think there's anything good, they'll have it away while you're sleeping. So you've got to be careful where you park, because there has been times that lorry drivers are parked and the trailers have been slashed, and half the load's gone missing. By the time you get up in the morning, if you're a hard sleeper, by the time you get up in the morning, half the load's gone. At least in the services you've got a bit of a chance, because there's lorries all around you 24/7.
The slashing of curtain sides is, unfortunately, a more common occurrence, and one that infuriates companies and customers alike. Thieves trawl lorry parks with knives, rip open the sides, and make off with whatever booty is to hand. They then have to be continually repaired at the trailer shop. It seems that Owens have another expensive outlay at the same time as winning the NACAP contract.
Customers are ringing us up more and more to say, well, where is your vehicle? What time will you be there? You know, plus you're going to think of vehicle thefts, which has been a major problem for us. It should, you know, help towards that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I'm hoping they may have come down a little bit in price now.
You're looking at £1,100
Per vehicle.
per vehicle, so it's getting expensive. It is expensive.
So what is that then for, so we're talking there as we're doing the fleet then, we're talking as part of an investment of about 400k then altogether,
Yeah. Yeah. And the ongoing costs.
And the ongoing costs as well.
Yeah, yeah.
To support traffic, the tracking system will have weekly ongoing costs of £300 per day, 7 days a week. That's £110,000 per year on top of the initial cost of £400,000.
The problems we've had in the Midlands, especially with the gangs stealing loads and taking away trucks and whatever, that it's left no alternative, but we've got to go down the road of tracking systems, because at the end of the day the boys in traffic should know where every truck is at any given time.
But will it be viewed as another monitoring tool for the management over the drivers?
I'm just hoping that the drivers will look at it as not more or less another spy in the camp, and at the end of the day, if they're supposed to be in Dover or up in Glasgow, you know what I mean, it's patently obvious that they will know that we'll know exactly where they are.
With 80 lorries to manage on his own, it will be a godsend for John Evans at Bridgend.
Where they actually say they are, and where they actually are, do differ somewhat. You can get that on the tacker, but if you're a tracking system, you can know to the yard where they are. But very few drivers do that, but obviously you get, in all big firms, you get the odd one or two. How far are you off someone? So, I'm not going to be there for 2 or 3 hours. But if you're a tracking system, he's only 20 miles away. Perhaps he doesn't want to load that night for any reason. Perhaps he's got a little liaison up in the sunny part of the country, the certain lady who don't know you, and he'd rather stay there than come back. So, you know, one of those things does happen.
That's John Evans' opinion. But what about one of the drivers? Big Mick.
Not every lorry driver goes out there just to have rumpy-pumpy with other women, like, you know what I mean? Some people think that just because you're a lorry driver, you're a dirty old man, you know what I mean? You like other women. Well, we all like other women, but you do your own thing, and if you wanted a woman of the night or something, you could have a woman of the night, but it's all right doing that sort of thing, but you've got to be careful.
Whatever the thoughts of the drivers, the tracking system is on its way, and will mean that if a trailer or load is stolen, the computerized system will be able to locate it immediately. Big Mick has since left Owens and gone to work for another company. It's not only management that are calling for the tracking system. Clients need more updated information about the location of their loads.
This day and age you need it, 1 for like security of roads, 2 customers are demanding it, and 3 it'll help us with such things as drivers' hours, working time directives, which are all having big implications upon the business. Yeah.
Owens Road Services have come a long way since their small and humble beginnings, carrying piano parts of the M4 to London. Difficult decisions have been taken along the way, and some of those have paid off handsomely. It's a classic tale of the local lads done well, and with a multi-million-pound company running smoothly and efficiently, the naughty 15-year-old has come a long way from his schooling days at the Gwendryth Valley Grammar.
The headmaster Gwendryth said it once in the meeting that unless you're going to concentrate into schoolwork, you're not going to get anywhere in life, and unfortunately he's passed away now, and I wish I could perhaps spend 5 minutes with him and discuss where we are compared to where he thought we'd be, but we made a lot of friends all over the country really, and no doubt a few enemies, no doubt. And we've put the flag down now as far as Owens is concerned with the construction boys. There's a fair bit happening in South Wales and the Midlands and whatever. So if we do a good job with this one, I'm hoping that the word will spread around and we can compete then with the big boys for the big jobs anywhere in the UK and Europe.
With the company having to expand in order to keep ahead of the game, Vernon Owen, the man behind the success of the business, wants to see his two sons slowing down.
I would like to see him now carry on and not go in much bigger than what they are now, because I mean what I can say, the bigger they are, the more problems they're going to have, you know what I mean? Because they can't look after every item, they.
But his sons are confident of even greater success.
You get a lot of ups and downs. You get a lot of exciting times, you get a lot of unhappy times. If you win new contracts, there's a good feel about it. If you lose a contract, you get on a bit of a downer. But at the end of the day, you just got to sort of get on with it and do your best and hopefully at the end of the year that you get some results from it.
In 10 years' time, I think possibility the way the industry is and the work is down in this part, unfortunately I think we might have to move our head office away from Llanelli, because at this moment in time there's only 5% of our work down here, although we employ 300 people in Llanelli. The work is moving eastwards at this moment in time, and I just hope that something will come down here to keep us all in work.
And losing Owens Road Services from Llanelli would be a tragic loss for South West Wales.